Hello, new wave of British heavy metal.com here. Today it's the 27th of September 2023. Quick favour to ask as always, and that's if you wouldn't mind please subscribing to the channel. That'd be great, big help, so please do click that button if you would. Today I've got a bit of an obscure one, I suppose. Band is called Stonewashed, and their one and only album called Way of Thorns, which came out in 1995. Now, Stonewashed was a short-lived band. I think they were from Germany, so back around mid-1990s. And after this album, they kind of disappeared. I bought it recently when I learnt that Leon Geowie was the vocalist for the band. Now, I'm a big fan of Leon's work with his two stints with Dutch metal band Vengeance, originally from the like mid-late 80s, and then again about a decade later. And so I thought I'd buy it as curious as to what Leon got up to with Stonewashed. And back to Vengeance quickly for a bit of relevant history, I suppose. Vengeance were Dutch-based. If you don't know them, Vengeance were a Dutch-based heavy rock band in the 1980s. And as well as Leon in the band, they had none other than Arjen Lucassen on guitar. Of course, Arjen would go on to be, do Arion and all sorts of other stuff. And Leon, in my opinion, has got one of the finest vocal styles ideally suited to this big, booming, upbeat, heavy sound, which was Vengeance's trademark. And I think such an underrated vocalist. And in addition to the monster vocals that he's got, he had quite a flamboyant stage presence. Though, as I've mentioned, exited Vengeance, I think it was the early 1990s, shortly before the band split anyway, and then rejoined again around the turn of this century when Vengeance reformed, but I've not heard of them doing anything for probably a good 10 years now. Anyway, in between that, Stonewashed was one of the things that Leon got involved with. He's kept that association with Lucassen, working on some Arion stuff, and indeed Lucassen wrote a couple of songs on this Stonewashed album. So what's the music like? Well, it's a little bit different, and I don't mean that in a bad way. Leon's vocal power and range is still well up to par. It's a sort of a bluesy hard rock style with a bit of an understated funkiness to it. I guess I'd call it after giving it a good few spins. Some selected comments on the music. The opener, Big Fat Car, is one that Lucassen wrote. Nice big dramatic intro with the drums and the guitar. Nice short clip riff style, bounces along nice, and some tasty guitar work going on. Up next is a cover of the old Sparks classic, This Town Ain't Big Enough for the Both of Us. That's quite a fun upbeat listen. With the Stonewashed version of it. A bit of Christ. This is quite a big number, I think, is this one. Proper chunky hard rocker. Leon spits out the vocals. A lot of power going on, and just slightly unusual, which makes it quite intriguing, I think. Over is another big one, which goes into more what you might say is traditional melodic hard rock style. Huge catchy hook, big chorus, and again Leon's to the front with the vocals, and there's some more fine guitar work going on. And another one that bounces along, which is offbeat yet enjoyable, is Trigger Dog. Then we've got Out of My Brain, which is party style, I suppose. Lucassen wrote the music. Leon wrote the lyrics, and the lyrics are what we'll say, direct. If you'd look them up, you'll see what I mean there. But it is a big fun listen. Overall, we've got 13 songs here, which give a varied listen, and it's an album that I think deserves more than the one-off under the radar curiosity that it might be called, because it was the only thing that they did, and then disappeared, never to be heard from again. But it is quite that bit different, but enjoyable at the same time. And in a bit of a weird twist, I understand that in between the album being recorded and it being issued, they decided to change their name from Stonewashed to Way of Thorns, though some of the albums went out under the name of Stonewashed, which is, you know, what I've got here, as you can see from the cover photograph there. So weird-ish, enjoyable, certainly, worthy, most certainly. I think that's my view on it. I found it hard to find a copy. Managed to track one down, CD from a third-party seller on Amazon, and I think it's more than a worthy effort, and it stands up well, even though we're looking at nearly 30 years later. Looking on Amazon, there were still one or two third-party sellers selling used copies for just a few quid. So take a punt if you'd like to. I would recommend it. I enjoyed it. And there we go. That's Stonewashed and Way of Thorns. Please subscribe to the channel before you go. As I said, that'd be excellent. Big help and appreciated if you do that. And of course, as always, thanks for watching. Thanks for listening, and take care.